I will tell you, it is also unnerving to see that on a network where we've got count them, two non-white hosts in primetime, both of our non-white hosts in primetime are losing their shows, as is Katie Fang on the weekend.
Oh, you know what that means? That means everything is racist, everybody. We're back. We are back. Here today we're on Megyn Kelly's show. She's talking about Joy Reid being fired from MSNBC. And Megyn Kelly basically is not at all unhappy that Joy Reid got fired. But of course, some people are very unhappy, like Rachel Maddow, who also works at MSNBC. And she, as you're going to see, implies that her bosses, the big bosses at MSNBC, are racist for firing Joy Reid. I think it's hilarious. I love when the leftists eat their own, when the revolution eats its own. It's just the way it goes, and everything's racist. It's all those white men who are causing problems, don't you know? So let's get into this with Megyn Kelly talking about Joy Reid getting fired and Rachel Maddow into the mix.
The fallout from Joy Reid's firing at MSNBC continues. She signed off from the show for the last time last night. I mean, you know, we are going to miss her in our own special way. And her now former colleague, Rachel Maddow, never one to not be the center of attention if she can find a way of injecting herself into a story, decided to deliver a monologue aimed directly at her bosses. And this is the theme of what we saw. I looked it up today just so I would know the actual definition. Merriam-Webster: sanctimony, affected or hypocritical holiness. Wikipedia describes sanctimony as a feeling or display of moral superiority. Here's another one for you. Self-righteous, from Oxford. A certainty, especially an unfounded one, that one is totally correct or morally superior. I give you Rachel Maddow. We will kick it off with SOT 7.
In all of the jobs I have had, in all of the years I have been alive, there is no colleague for whom I have had more affection and more respect than Joy Reid. I love everything about her. I have learned so much from her. I have so much more to learn from her. I do not want to lose her as a colleague here at MSNBC. And personally, I think it is a bad mistake to let her walk out the door. It is not my call, and I understand that. I will tell you, it is also unnerving to see that on a network where we've got count them, two non-white hosts in primetime, both of our non-white hosts in primetime are losing their shows, as is Katie Fang on the weekend. And that feels worse than bad, no matter who replaces them. That feels indefensible, and I do not defend it.
Yeah, God forbid you should fire non-white hosts. That's indefensible. You know, the inner world of these people is incredible. I will never understand it, you know. Okay, we got to hire all these people of color and all these oppressed minorities, but we can never fire them either, even if their show gets no viewers, for example. Amazing.
And I do not defend it. It feels indefensible. And I do not defend it. Okay, she really is one of the most, maybe, is she the most annoying people on television. She oozes sanctimony and self-righteousness. And here's the real capper. She took her boss's faces and rubbed them in shit last night. That's what she did. The guy who oversees, she's got two bosses now, right? All right, she's got the first boss who's new. I've got to look up her name because I don't remember her name. What's her name, Steve? Rebecca Cutler. Okay. Who answers to a different boss who's above Rebecca Cutler. His name is Mark Lazarus. His current title is Prospective Chief Executive Officer of SpinCo. That's Comcast planned spinoff of MSNBC, basically. He's responsible for the company's networks. Well, Rebecca and Mark, do you have any spines whatsoever? Are you actually going to let an employee, that's what she is, Rachel Maddow, talk about you, your company, and your decision-making this way? Mr. Lazarus, do you have any testosterone? Do you have any testicular fortitude to stand up for yourself as a professional and executive, never mind a man, and tell this woman, you're fired too. You're fired for insubordination and for disparaging the network publicly in front of our 4 viewers. We're very upset about what...
That's quite amusing. Yes, it will be interesting to see if Rachel Maddow's bosses fire her or reprimand her. You know, do they actually have the balls to do it? Who knows?
They must now think. Why don't you? If one of my employees ever did this to me, let's say, you know, we start an MK network and we have MK employees who go from being my producers to going out there and offering commentary. It's happened in many places. And they did this, I would fire them so fast, and I would not be, you couldn't get me to back down with claims of, oh, you're, you know, it's viewpoint discrimination. You're cracking down on free speech. No, you work for me. You work for me. I'm going to give you my airwaves so you can go out there and rip on me? No, that's not going to happen. And look, it's one thing if you're in the middle of a whistleblower scandal, all right? You know, I actually thought it was to her credit when she called them out at NBC when they were lying about not having the Harvey Weinstein story knocked down. That was one thing. But just getting on to randomly disagree with their decisions and accuse them of racism because you would have come to a different conclusion, she should be fired. They won't fire her because, I don't say the P word, but they are a bunch of Ps. And she's the only one who comes close to putting numbers on the board. It's all relative, trust me. But, you know, thinnest kid at fat camp and all. And so they're not going to fire her. But what she got away with on the air last night was absolutely disrespectful. And it was insubordinate. And it is just evidence of how she is affected. She is somebody who evinces an affected or hypocritical holiness, a feeling or display of moral superiority. You really have to watch the whole 5-minute bit, but I'm going to take you through it, okay, before we have our guests come. She starts off by saying, I'm going to take a little point of personal privilege here for just a moment, if it is okay with you. Well, we're your prisoners, Rachel, so yeah, go ahead. You may have already heard about these changes announced at MSNBC. The new president of our network goes nameless. Rebecca does not get a name. Made it official today. This woman just took over on February 12th, by the way. It's not her. It's not her doing. This definitely came from all the way up. I guarantee you this was a Comcast call. This is probably Brian Roberts' call. Rumor has it that he couldn't stand Joy Reid, which makes sense because she hates white people, and he is one. So that's probably how that went down. Brian Roberts is not a complete lunatic. He's a businessman, and he likes making money, and that's why, you know, as long as MSNBC was doing well, he kind of let the machine go. But now it's hemorrhaging money, and so you start to take aim at the most annoying and weak actors first, and that, sadly, Joy, is where you fell on both counts. So it's not this woman Rebecca's fault, but Rachel Maddow would like to go out there and pillory all of them, including the new president, who made it official today. Some of the shows are moving, blah, blah, blah. Then she wants everyone to be assured that she is she's going to be here 5 days a week for the first 100 days of Trump's presidency as planned. Okay? But as planned, I'm going back to just Mondays after. Hell no, I'm not working 5 days a week on an ongoing basis. Here's just a little of that.
In prime time, just so you know, I am here 5 days a week for the first 100 days of Trump's presidency, as planned.
Oh, thank God.
And as planned, I will go back to just Mondays after that. That is not changing.
Hell no. Why would I change that? I'm not working full time for my first $30 million and now $25 million a year. She had to take a pay cut, you see. Maybe you've had to take a pay cut at your job recently, given the economy. Did you go from 30 to 25 million and then act like you took one for the team? Aw, little smallest violin for poor Rachel Maddow down to 25 million meager bucks a year.
Yeah. Imagine getting paid. Imagine being Rachel Maddow, of all people, and getting paid $25 million a year, $2 million a month to do what she does. But, I mean, God, I will admit, I mean, I've told you before on many of my videos that My entire family, I'm an outlier in my family, and virtually, well, not virtually, everyone else is some version of bleeding heart liberal, leftist, progressive, uh, communist maybe, I don't know. Certainly progressive, socialist minded. And yeah, people very close to me love watching Rachel Maddow. They would sit down every night and watch Rachel Maddow or whenever she was on. And you know, that's how I know I've been living out of America for so long. Because whenever I go back to visit, I feel real culture shock when I watch people watch American TV, especially, you know, supposedly serious shows like, you know, news commentary like Rachel Maddow. It's unbearable. I find it unbearable. Really incredible. We'll see what happens. And yeah, oh great, she's going to be on 5 nights every day, or 5 days a week for the first 100 days of Trump's presidency. Wow. Okay, liberals, lap it up. She's coming in with those clever takes. I'm sure she and the rest of the revolution will bring Trump down. We'll see. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.